at Chertsey Bookstore this afternoon, and I'm here with Lynne McTaggart. And Lynne is going to be doing a book signing ahead of her talk this evening for Naked Dragon. And we're here in this wonderful hub of the local community, where there's lots going on in the bookstore, so it's all very exciting what's happening here around us today. And I just want to say welcome, Lynne.
Thank you, Julie. It's lovely to be here.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you. And I'd like to ask you a few quick questions for your talk tonight, so a little bit of advance information for us, which would be wonderful. I think I'd like to start with actually asking you a little sad question almost, because I know that recently you lost your beautiful dog, Ollie.
Yes.
And I understand that Ollie was very significant in terms of you writing the bond. Could you tell us a little bit about Ollie's involvement and how he sparked off the those for you?
Well, there were a couple of big reasons that I wrote this book. One was trying to figure out why we're in the mess we're in. But the other question I had really related to whether we were born to be competitive. And one of the things that sparked this was just observing my little dog, who was a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. And he was an unneutered male. And our next door neighbor had a neutered female half pincher. And Ollie just loved T-bone, he was. And he used to dig holes under our fence to push bones under the fence for T-bone. And when she came over, he would raid our garbage bin and take out, like a chicken carcass for them to feast on. It was like something from Lady and the Tramp. And, he let her have first shot at his food and his toys. And when they played together, he'd roll over and let her win, just to keep her in the game, even though he was bigger and stronger than she was. So I kept thinking to myself, well, this violates everything we think about how our world works. Because, we're supposed to have selfish genes. It's supposed to be all about, survival of the fittest. And yet Ollie is being completely sacrificial and selfless with his pal. And there's no propagation of sense line. She's neutered. So I kept thinking, this is just a kindness for no reason in the animal kingdom. And so I wondered whether or not that's true, whether we're hardwired for connection rather than competition. And so that was, as I said, one of the reasons that I wrote the book.
Oh, that's wonderful. And what a beautiful tribute to, obviously, little doggy has a very special place in your heart.
Absolutely.
So thank you for sharing that story with us. Something else I wanted to ask you as well, Lynne. You recently ran a very interesting experiment called the 9/11 Peace Intention Experiment. Have I got that right?
Yes.
And I understand that that's just completed.
Yes.
Could you tell us very briefly a little bit about it and how the experiment went and what sort of results you can get on that?
Okay. We won't have the results yet. It takes a couple of months for that to filter through. The scientists have to get the data, and they don't just look at a snapshot of a week after the event. They look at what happens over several months, and they look at that compared to what happened 2 years before, and they look at that as a whole timeline. So we do a whole statistical analysis. It's serious science. But what we did was, I wanted to run a peace intention experiment for 9/11. To bring together East and West. So I contacted a guy who I know who is basically like the Deepak Chopra of the Middle East, Salah al-Rashid. And I said, why don't we do this together? So you invite all of your followers in Arab countries. I'll invite all of my followers with the rest of the world, and we'll bring them together with this big peace intention experiment. And so I had run something very similar in Sri Lanka in 2008, and we'd had, thousands of people come together and send intention to a particular place in what was then war-torn north of Sri Lanka. And we had this remarkable effect, 74% lowering in violence, and also it really seemed to change the course of the war. But we don't know whether we did that. I mean, if you run one experiment like this, it could all be a coincidence. So I want to run a big series of these to see. So in doing this, we got people from 75 countries around the world, 35,000 people getting involved, from every single Arab country there is, from places like the Caribbean islands, occupied Palestine, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, Iceland. I mean, we had people from everywhere, as well as UK, US, North America, all of Western Europe. So we had this remarkable response. And what I found, when we set intention to Afghanistan, to 2 provinces in Afghanistan, what I found, which is what I find with all intention experiments, there's an amazing feeling of oneness. And because we ran it over 8 days, it deepened day by day by day. So there's, first of all, that feeling among the participants. We also hear from the participants that they feel changed. And this was what happened in 2008. Not only was the target of our intention changed, but the people doing the sending changed too. They had some remarkable things where they felt closer to every stranger with whom they came into contact. So it was really amazing.
Wow, that sounds phenomenal. I look forward to hearing the results of that.
Thank you.
Keeping myself posted.
Thank you.
And finally, Lynn, I'd just like to ask you, we're obviously going through a period of very fast change. And even this time next year, I believe that the world's going to look very different. In your opinion, how do you think the world will be looking in 5 years?
What a great question, Julie. Here's 2 possible trajectories. One is we continue along the path we've been taking, which is the path that I've argued against in the bond, which is, we're taking a path that's against our true nature. Although we believe we're supposed to be individualistic and competitive and that life is a zero-sum game, you've got to win at somebody else's expense. We continue down what I call that path of atomization, of living apart and separate. And we're going to see, this is only the beginning of the calamities we will see.
Yes.
We will see more and more crises. The crises we're feeling in every area, financial, business, ecological, extreme weather, all of those things, energy, are all part and parcel of this mindset.
Yes.
This is essentially what selfish looks like. It looks like calamity. It looks like destroying things in order to get ahead, and that's what we're doing now. Or we can embrace the opposite impulse, which is to recognize that our true nature is to share, care, and be fair, not to compete, and to come together and evolve in a different way, in the way that I talk about in the bond, where we learn to wipe that old hard drive clean and we embrace a new way that is all about connecting in a different way, seeing in a different way, clustering together in our neighborhoods, making much more of community and connection, even across great divides, and also changing our life's purpose so it's not just about what's in it for me.
Yes, so very exciting times ahead.
I hope so.
Yes. And on that thought, I'd just like to say thank you
Thank you.
Joining us tonight, Lynn.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, Julie. I'm just going to let everybody know, too, if they want to find out more information, they can come to my website, which is www.thebond.net.
That's wonderful. So follow Lynn's progress on her website, and also to look out for the results of the peace experiment, which will be coming through hopefully over the next few months.
Great.
Yes.
Thanks so much,
Thank you very
Julie.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.